Friday. What's going on with you, Coop, man? How you doing, sir?
What's going on, good sir? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. We want to make sure that we welcome everybody into the room. Let me check
hmm
and make sure all our social medias are working because I know people want to get in live and chime in as best as they can. You know what
hmm
I'm saying? Hold on. There we go. I see the lives popping up now, and I see people coming in the room. Yes. First things first, man.
Blessing.
Peace and blessings to everyone out there on this lovely Friday, man. People are already saying Royce. So,
What I tell
while
you.
while folks are getting into the room, before we can even get into an intro, let's go to the happenings that happened earlier. I think it was last night. Young Guru hooked up Royce and Lupe Fiasco, who have been going back and forth on social media. And let me just play the video. Here we go.
Yeah. Go ahead, do that.
Pushing buttons, right?
I ain't pushing your
We
buttons.
pushing the buttons.
If you
pushing the buttons, nigga.
Lux and them called you.
I don't want to do that shit personally, but if you want to make a professional fool of your motherfucking self running up against a demon, go ahead. Fuck
Who
you.
you
Y'all
talking to, man?
niggas ain't rap yet.
Lou,
Y'all ain't yet. None
Lou,
of them
listen,
niggas rap.
Lou, listen before you say something stupid. Mook and them called you.
Say something stupid.
I ain't bringing this up.
Lux
Mook and them called you.
Look, Lux called me. Not
What the
Mook.
fuck you think I'm lying to you? What the fuck I gotta lie for, dog?
Nigga, Lux just called me.
Well, get in the motherfucking ring then, bitch. If you got a motherfucking problem, who you think you fucking talking to, nigga?
All right, nigga.
You playing too much.
Okay. Start
Take some
practicing.
of that motherfucking bass out your voice, nigga.
Start practicing, nigga.
It ain't nothing to practice. It ain't nothing to practice about.
Nigga, start practicing. Fuck what you talking about.
It ain't nothing to practice about. If you can't rap unless you get personal.
Did he hang up? He hung up.
Keep pushing buttons.
Well, what are some of your thoughts on that? Everybody in the chat is pretty much saying Royce. Well, let me go to the chat real quick. People saying Royce. It's not even a question. Royce. What's up, y'all? Royce. Lupe, my dude. Huh. What the fuck is Lupe talking about? What are some of your thoughts on what you just heard and what we heard earlier?
Like, first of all, Mike, how did all of this get started? That's actually what like, how did this happen?
I forget. Because somebody in a previous show explained exactly how it happened. I don't want to misquote any of it, but I know they've been going back and forth with bars on social media. If anybody in the chat remembers how it started, please break it down, and we can go from there, and we can do our research during the show too, just to make sure we know.
I mean, second, it's like, it's like you say, you got to give credit to Lupe because, like you said, Mike, Lupe, he's not afraid of anybody.
He's not, and he's ready for the battle, even though he hasn't battled like that.
Mike,
but he's ready.
Mike, and rightfully so. Like, he's as far as being a tactician lyrically on the mic is concerned, he's as fine as they come.
Yeah, top level.
Top level.
Yeah.
Mike. So is Royce, Mike. And in battle, there are certain things that certain people are more suited for, and that's why people are saying Royce. It's not like Lupe can't rhyme with Royce. It's that Royce is more of a total package, as in, like, nah, like, like Royce can lyrically do some spellbinding, like masterful stuff as well, like Lupe can, but he brings other things and elements to the table as well.
So you got
like,
Royce.
I do have Royce, because here's what I'm going to tell you. Lupe can do a lot, but he's not witty or charming like Royce, and that's going to hurt him up against Royce if Royce is lyrically sharp. And the fact that Lupe's poked at Royce like this, it's like you said, Royce kind of got to come with his A game because Lupe's poked at him now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take his wit and charm into account with his lyrical ability as a tactician on the mic too, because it may not be above Lupe, but he can swing in Lupe's stratosphere. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like Evander Holyfield wasn't as big as a lot of other heavyweights, Mike, but he still knocked some dudes out.
Well, Lupe kind of spars in those arenas with guys who are in, rap battles like the Daylights, the Mickey Facts of the world, and we haven't seen Lupe in a battle ring per se. And that's the biggest question mark for a lot of these rappers, especially since the battle has changed so much. Like traditionally, I guess we have thought about rap battles and diss records on wax, right? And a lot of the people that we hold high when it comes to high regard when it comes to those diss records, we have never seen in like on like a URL stage. We've just never seen it. I think Cassidy was the guy who kind of changed the game as far as like bringing that element of a rap battle back to where it was just acapellas, one mano a mano, no beat. You couldn't ride the beat, and you just had an MC that was coming at you. We haven't really seen many people take that stage. When Joe Budden attempted to do it, it wasn't like you could tell he was out of his league with the battle rapper that he was going against. Didn't he go against like Disaster or something?
I forget, to be honest with you, just offhand.
But with that being said, it would be interesting to see if this actually happens, to see guys who we just know from record and we've never seen in a face-to-face situation. We're getting in the chat. Somebody said R.I.P. Biz Markie. Damn. We'll go back and research that and make sure that's what it is. But yeah, we haven't seen that yet, where two guys who we just know from record are getting on the URL stage and just going at it. So that would be interesting in itself.
When you spoke to Cassidy, I thought to myself, I mean, didn't the battle rap thing become bigger about the Cassidy freeway battle specifically?
Yeah. And that was like that gritty footage. We really couldn't see clearly what happened, but yeah, go ahead.
So let's contextualize this a little bit. The Jay and Nas battle actually like reinstituted and restarted the battle era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like their beef, the whole
You think
Rockefeller
so?
running up the hot content. Yeah, because if you look at that era and that time, that's the tipping point. That's the moment that everybody was looking at from the Giants. And that time and that era in rap is when battle rap came back and became relevant again. It's because the two biggest heavyweights were taking shots at each other. It's very relevant. That's 2001. Go look at the battle rap scene from 2001 to about 2010. Look at it from like 91 to 2000.
For me,
different.
For me personally, and not to get back on this Beans thing, I thought that the D Block State Property back and forth was way more entertaining than the Jay-Z and Nas, because we knew we were going to get a bunch of mixtape stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I think that you're right. I think that the Jay-Z and Nas thing kind of ignited a lot of things under it. I am getting news that Biz Markie has indeed passed away. So R.I.P. Biz Markie, and we weren't prepared for that on this show, but we can definitely pivot. We need to. I remember. I got a Biz Markie story myself. I was in New York on New Year's Eve, and Biz Markie was DJing, and he was killing it that night. Forgot the club that I was at. But yeah, I was really impressed by, obviously, incredible DJ. This had to be like in the mid-2000s. So he was up to date with everything, and he had a mix of all kind of stuff. But, you hear those videos of Rakim being in high school, and Biz Markie was there, doing the beatbox or, beating on the table. Like, everybody has a Biz Markie story. He was everywhere in the early days of hip hop.
You mean Kane? You mean beating on the table for Kane?
No, it was Rakim. Yeah.
Kane too. No,
Kane too. That's Juice Crew stuff. But yeah, I'm saying he was everywhere. He was around LL. He was around Rakim. He was everywhere. Yeah.
He was an essential part of the hip hop scene. 5 elements of hip hop.
Yeah.
Mike, I've never had an interaction with him. I've been fortunate to meet a lot of legendary artists. Did not ever get a chance to meet him. I will say, though, because seeing him pass away before the age of 60 brings me back to a comment that I believe I made last year about seeing too many people from this community as Black men dying in their 40s and in their 50s.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to speak again to our health and us looking at where we're from, truly, and that's on a personal case-by-case basis. and having a diet and just being more conscious of things. I believe when I spoke to that, I spoke to some things that I've been going through health-wise, at the time. Yeah. And so we just need to be more mindful, and just take better care of ourselves because, too many of us aren't even making it to 60, Mike. And when you look at that, you look at how the life expectancy has extended itself, and our lifetime is like late 70s and early 80s babies for those of us from that generation.
Right.
That's, we just got to make some changes. And rest in peace and condolences to the family.
Yes, there were. He died from a series of complications from diabetes that he's been fighting for, more than a year. But on a lighter note, though, he's made some of the more important hip hop songs, especially of his era. Like I remember looking at that Tribe Called Quest documentary. It might have been the Tribe documentary, or it might have been Abstract Radio of Q-Tip, but they were just making fun of the native tongue for how much they would sample Biz Markie and Nobody Beats the Biz and all these different variations of that, Like we've heard that beat over and over. Him and Marley Marl made magic together. I think that some of Marley Marl's strongest material are Biz Markie records. Nobody Beats the Biz and Make the Music
those
with
are some of the biggest records too.
What's that?
Those are some of the biggest records Marley Marl did too.
It is, and those are like some of the defining records of that era too. Like I'm down to wreck your body and party. Down to wreck your body and say turn the party out. Like just the drums, man, going off was so dope.
No, he was great.
Yeah, I know a lot of people remember him for Just a Friend, but Vapors.
Vapors is what I remember him for. Vapors was like one of the first rap videos that I saw like get played regularly.
I mean, there was no ODB type of characters or Missy Elliott type of characters, before Biz Markie. So he definitely was an original in that sense.
You want to know it? He is a transitional character in the sense that he came from a school where it's like where the DJ and the B-boy and the beatboxer were still very, very big and prominent, but he was also an MC as well, like could, rhyme. So, he's versatile and transitional.
So you like the Vapors better than Nobody Beats the Biz and Make the Music with Your Mouth?
Yeah. Vapors is mine. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I might go with Nobody Beats the Biz.
I mean, but here's the thing about it, and this is what I mean. Like, I like things that like are timeless themes. Like the Vapors is a timeless theme. Like, look at the story. Yeah.
I think it's that beat for me with the Nobody Beats the Biz, because I mean, every time people have flipped it from Maya and Jay, whatever, like it's fire.
Didn't Kane write the Vapors?
Yes.
Or co-write the Vapors?
I think he did.
Yeah.
I think he did.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean. He was an entertainer and a performer. Like he could write his own stuff. He could write somebody else's stuff. He could beatbox. He could rap. He could take. I mean, Like Kane ain't like, look at it like this. It's like people look at. I mean, whatever you may feel like about ghostwriting, it's like sometimes it's like you got to look at who you're taking from too. Like it ain't easy to take somebody like Kane shit and make it work. Like
I think ghostwriting. I think ghostwriting was viewed a lot different in that era too, and I think for somebody like Biz Markie, who's like a beatboxer, a DJ and all those things, it ain't no shame in having people, write for you at that point. But I mean, that's how I feel. I feel like producers.
DJ, Mike.
Huh?
Forgot he could DJ. He could DJ.
I mean,
on the wheels of steel too.
Yeah, I think when you do all those things.
So I mean, Mike, he could probably break dance too. So if like Biz did graffiti, he pretty much practiced all 5 elements. That's pretty legendary, wouldn't you say?
It is very legendary. I hate to hear that we're losing legends and people who have such rich history and so much game to give, and rest in peace, Biz Markie. I know that, when it happens like this, a lot of people, reflect and start talking about the great things that we should have been talking about, while the person was here to receive it. But, I hope Biz, saw that we celebrated him on a frequent basis while he was here. And he's one of the pioneers and definitely a huge part of the foundation of hip hop.
Hey, Mike. Also, too, on days like this, it's like it makes me happy that like you make it a point to still like recycle material and stuff like from the '80s. So it's like when I see like those Kane and Biz Markie and Rakim and like Boogie Down Production stuff pop up on our site, like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
man.
times like this is why stuff like that is important. Like you know what I mean? To keep it alive, to keep it fresh, to cycle it into a new generation so they know who these legends are.
Right. I know the internet moves fast, but the internet also gives you ability to shed light on historical, um, monumentous, monumental events on a daily basis and celebrate anniversaries and all that stuff. Because when we were coming up and radio ran hip hop, they just talked about whatever was going on at the time. Like if something was 4 or 5 years old, you were just never gonna see it anymore unless it was like some big classic or something. I remember when Rap City used to have they used to have like a old school Wednesday or something,
Right.
and they would play like stuff from like the '80s, but you can't really rap in 15 years of material in 2 hours. So
No,
obviously,
but no. I thought they did a good job of it, Mike,
yeah,
because like a lot of videos that I didn't remember from my childhood or songs that I heard, I got acquainted with when Rap City did that. Like like I Ain't No Joke was one of the records they played. My Philosophy,
yep,
you know. So it's like that they knew what they were doing in terms of what records to pick. They were picking like I remember Love's Gonna Get You being played one time.
yep.
Like they picked in records. They went back and picked the right records, Self Destruction, stuff like that. They played the right records.
Yeah, but the internet allows us to do that on a more frequent basis, and it allows people to go down that rabbit hole of listening to material on YouTube that they might not have, heard if they were waiting for it on the radio. But yeah, Biz was important, and he's one of those people again. Like I said, he was around everybody in the beginnings, and I'm sure now we're probably going to hear a lot of stories that we've never heard before of places that he was at and experiences that people had with him early on, and how he's probably more important than we even currently realize. And we already know how super important he was.
Right.
So, man, that makes it where it's like, man, where do we go from here?
About, Mike?
What were we talking about? Well, I think I got Lupe Fiasco over Royce. Hopefully this happens.
Right.
Do you think that this URL matchup is going to happen? Do you think they're actually going to go through with it?
I mean, they done talk cash shit to each other now. So I mean, now if they don't, Street's gonna apply pressure. Like damn all that industry pressure. Like Street's gonna apply pressure.
Yep.
They gonna be like, you gonna let fam talk to you like I told you, Mike. Remember when we talked about a couple weeks ago? I was like, that's Detroit and Chi-Town too. It's like, no, that's happening now, Mike.
Yeah, because Royce was talking reckless, man. Royce was talking real reckless.
Like Royce he went to Detroit. That's what happened. like remember when Chris Rock was like that Tiger with Tiger? It's like, oh, why Royce do that? It's like, well, Royce from Detroit. I mean, like what did he do? He went to Detroit. Like, what you mean? What happened?
I mean, at this point, they can't do anything but do it. Ain't nobody could back down at this point.
Right.
What they gonna say? Because that really surprised me, and I think we were talking about this offline. That time when Mos Def, I don't know who he was talking to, but he was quoting LL talking about battle anybody. I don't care who you tell. And I think he might have been directing it. I don't even want to put a name out there, but it was somebody in the mainstream that was popping at the time. And I guess that's who he was directing it to. Might have been Drake. I don't know. But Lupe just jumped out of nowhere and was like, well, you say you battle anybody. Let's do this. And then Mos Def came with a full out, I ain't got time to write battle raps and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, huh?
So Mike, first of all, he flaky like that. And nobody thought that was happening, Mike. Like you probably wanted it to happen and you were probably happy, but nobody thought it was happening, Mike. Nobody thought it was happening.
It's just the fact that somebody like a Lupe Fiasco is that lyrically strong where he can jump up and say, hey, Mos Def, I'll battle you. And Mos Def says, nah, I don't have time for that.
I mean, no, I get what you're saying, Mike. Yeah. But I mean, Mos is, like, hey, Mike, this shit right here happening. That's what I'm saying. And
I think it
also
is.
too, and so you got to start looking at some mitigating factors. So one of the mitigating factors that I look at when I'm picking Royce is okay. So this is a battle, Mike. So you got to look at sparring partners. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, first of all, I don't care what you say about him,
Oh
Mike.
gosh.
He is a great battle rapper, Mike.
Is he?
I think the 96 Rap Olympics proved that, Mike. Yes, he's a great battle rapper.
It's 2021.
No, Mike. So I was going to speak to something. So can I finish my thought?
Go ahead.
Come on. He's been sparring with some of the best his entire career, Mike.
Oh, do tell.
I mean, first of all, he came into the game sparring with one of the best.
Limp Bizkit or Britney Spears, or was it Christina Aguilera or NSYNC?
I'm not touching that, Mike. You're gonna let me finish my thoughts.
Go ahead.
Because I knew you were gonna do that. No matter what you say, Mike, he came in battling and rhyming with and next to one of the best. And you also have to go look at the Slaughterhouse crew, Mike, like Ortiz, Budden, Crooked. Mike, that's as good as it gets as far as like battle rap.
So hold on. You talking about Royce sparring with them, or are you saying Eminem spars with those guys?
No, I'm talking about Royce sparring with these guys. I'm talking about Royce.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
Mike, for his whole career, pretty much, Mike has been sparring with the likes of M, Ortiz, Crooked, Budden, like Mike, like who Lupe been sparring with, Mike?
Well, his crew is very lyrically dense too.
Mike, listen to the names that I just named. That's why I'm saying who he been sparring with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would say Mickey Facts, Daylight.
Like facts. Yeah.
Daylight, but yeah, I mean, I know I'm missing somebody. Yeah, but that's the thing. Lupe's never really been a frequent collaborator like that. I would have loved to have seen, and I guess we still can see, one of those like Lupe teaming up on some Slaughterhouse shit with his crew. You know what I'm saying? Or with a group of individuals like that. I don't know if you saw that Cannabis, Rozkaz, Corrupt, and Killer Priest group is actually trying to do something now. The Four Horsemen, yeah.
Yeah, I remember Four Horsemen.
They were vicious. They were one of those vicious groups that never happened.
It's vicious.
Vicious.
Killer Priest is the worst MC in your group. Group is vicious.
That's crazy. There's no way in the world Killer Priest could be the worst MC in your group. That's crazy.
He would have been in that group, Mike. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No. I mean, yeah, but that's crazy to think.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy to think. Because we had never really seen anything like that at that point. I mean, the way they teamed up, and I don't give a fuck what anybody say. And all respect to Slaughterhouse, I got that group over Slaughterhouse on paper. And I'm gonna just keep it 100. I've never been totally floored by what Slaughterhouse has made as a group. I feel like Slaughterhouse has made much better stuff individually, but I don't think Slaughterhouse has ever really lived up to what they could be or what we've seen them as individuals. You know what I mean?
It's so hard to get four people like that who have operated solo for so long to come together and make material. So the point is to make it a cohesive, solid project. I think so. I think my expectations weren't for them to blow my mind with the album. I was never expecting that out of them. I was expecting high-level lyrical performances, and I got those.
It's who has ever really been able to do something like that successfully? Huh?
No, I mean, that's the thing. It's so hard to do that successfully. I mean, you got to even look at cats. I mean, like, look at what happened to The Firm. Like, they've been making music together prior to that anyway. Still don't, it's too many hands in the coop. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, because you got so many people who have been operating as solo artists. I would say Wu-Tang has been able to do that, but that's because they kind of just started with the group thing first and branched out and was able to kind of come back. But that's so difficult for groups to do. The Lox did the same thing, and Man, I know.
But you're talking about two success stories of it though. But the
Yeah.
success stories are when you start off as a group and branch off, not when you branch off and then come together.
You
Those
know
usually
who?
don't.
You know who does a good job of that? And
Right.
you know, not to speak them up, but Dipset did a really good job of that. And when we sit back and look at what the Diplomats have done as individuals and what they're able to come together and do, they don't really lose anything. You know what I'm saying? I know it's 3 of them chiefly, but you know, and they have a bunch of affiliates. But for Cam to be as big as he was, and for Jules to kind of, you know, be the young guy in the crew, and really Jim to just be not even considered an MC, to be able to do what he did, and then they come together and they make the songs that they make, it's impressive, actually.
Mike, you're absolutely right. It is impressive.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that at all.
Because they don't, I mean, they have a leader, but I think we were talking about this before. Jim Jones ended up probably making the biggest song in the crew's history.
He did. It's not a question. No, Mike. No, Mike. We fly high as like we fly high as one of those like forever rotational rap singles, and it's the only single out that camp like that.
And Jim Jones was very pivotal in that whole, you know, DVD hip hop era. I think that the Love and Hip Hops were centered around him, right? Like, because he was out here doing what he was doing on these DVDs and on YouTube, and Mona Scott wanted to follow him around, but he didn't want to do it, so she settled for his, his girlfriend, Chris.
Right.
And that's how Mike, Love and Hip Hop was born, you know? Like,
Mike, I remember because I can't even front. Like, I watched the first couple episodes, like, about him, and him and his folks ran up on dude with the cameras. I was like, yeah, I already know how that go. Go ahead and cut that off. I was like, cut that off. when they cut the cameras off, I was like, yeah, go ahead and cut it off. This shit right here.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, he's very pivotal and very important in that. Man, your screen has frozen. I mean, I hear you. You're going, but your screen is frozen. Hold on. Let me get you out and then drop you back in real quick.
That's cool. I got some wrap-up thoughts about Royce.
Okay, cool. Let's get Cool back in this building, man. Technical difficulties with the storm going on or something. Yes, man. R.I.P. Biz Markie, man.
Yeah, shit sad.
Yeah, man, it is, man. All right, you're back on. But yeah, so you got somebody like Cam who is impactful in his way, Jim who is impactful in his way. And honestly, man, Santana, I could say similar things. I really feel like Santana was a big part of Lil Wayne getting the New York credibility that he got at the time.
I agree. And I think, Santana, due to some infractions with the law, missed a lot of opportunities to be bigger than even he was. Because I think, and here's one of the things, and here's what I mean, Dipset is sneaky good. Jewels was trending to be as big as Cam.
You know whose first single ever Jewels was on? Chris Brown. Yeah. They chose Jewel Santana to be on Chris Brown's first single. Run it. I mean,
that is right.
Yeah. So these guys.
First single was the first single? Okay.
Yeah,
you're right.
So, yeah, there was a plan for Santana. Santana had star power.
Mike. He was going to have, like, a spot in the city. Like, he was going to be, like, he was going to be rhyming next to these dudes for the next 10, 15 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
and he was nice.
Like, how about this? He was supposed to be, like, one of these dudes that Griselda was calling for features today.
Right.
He was be one of those guys.
Definitely.
I mean, he still can kind of be that guy. I know he's home now. I don't know what he got cooking, but, I mean, this is a good way back in. Like, right here. Like, I expect to hear something from Jewel shortly after this. This is set up perfectly for him.
Is he responsible for the one word flow, where you say one word and then keep repeating that word in different senses? Was that him or Cam?
Probably Cam.
Okay.
Because Cam is so confident, which is one of the things that makes him great. Like, his confidence is supreme. Like, even if you don't think Cam is a A-list MC, he's got A-list MC confidence, which matters. And so he has the type of frame of mind. He's like, no, I can say it twice. Like, I'm Cam, and people gonna rock with it. Like, just like they're gonna rock with this pink fur and these pink rings and this pink range. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing. I'm Cam.
I mean, have we ever heard anybody switch up everything like on the third album? Because he wasn't rapping like that before.
I mean,
Most people
like
switch it up on their second. Like, you get, T.I. switched it up on his second. Like, trap music, he's a different rapper than he was on I'm Serious. Common, he's a different rapper on Resurrection than he was on One Day It All Makes Sense.
No, I mean, that's, you want to know what it is, Mike? I mean, that's the uptown in Cam. Actually, Cam's a hustler. And Cam, like what Cam was doing in the game, it wasn't enough for him. Like the horsing, that's what I mean. It's like horse and carriage is dope. Like this, what means the world to you is a smash, but it wasn't enough for Cam. He wanted more. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So he went back in the bag and came up with new tricks. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like Akeem didn't come into the league with the dream shake. Like he worked on that one off season, Mike. He worked on that on the off season after he went to the finals in his second year, and Kevin McHale, pretty much gave him a nice lesson on fundamental and post play, even though he was already probably one of the 5 most fundamental post players. Came back the next year with that dream shake after dealing with Kevin McHale and Larry Bird and Robert Parrish, though. And so Cam had been around a lot of great guys and done some great things. He went in the bag and came back with some moves. That's all. It's what great players do.
Santana was that young energy, man. And like I said, Jim Jones is just a wild card. And for me, I mean, I definitely think Jim Jones is going to be so important in this matchup. And his songs, he got street records. He got Summer in Miami with Trey Songz. You know what I mean? Like, these are songs that, I mean, they don't have to play, but they can be played. And people will be like, oh, shit.
Got joints, Mike. They got joints.
They got joints. Like crunk music.
Like they had about. I mean, how long would you say their run was? About 3 years.
I would say longer than that. I mean, I would say from
Come
Home.
I mean, like run. I mean, from the time Come Home with Me was what year was that?
About 3 years. I'll say about 3 years.
I mean, Mike, they did a lot of great things in 3 years.
Well, the people in the not in the chat, but the people on the page, it was over 4,800 votes. They picked the Locks over Dipset in this matchup. They had the Locks at 56%. So.
Oh no, they got valid reasons. I just don't. I mean, I just look at the nuances of things, so I just don't know if it's totally going to play that way out live, Mike.
We'll see, man. Let's talk about Vince Staples, man, and him being underrated. And people are still coming in the chat saying RP to Biz Markie. Keep that coming. Let's keep that energy going. You froze up again, Coop. I don't know if it's something on my end or whatever, but I want you to, I want to talk to you about this Vince Staples thing. And...
Yeah. Tell me what I need to do. What's wrong? Maybe I'm going to do give me like 15 seconds. I'm going to hang up and let me like refresh my page too. Just
okay, cool. We'll see. And I'll talk to the people while you're doing that. You just hit me back and then, I'll go ahead and get you on.
All right, that's the bet. That sounds like a plan.
So yeah, everybody in the room, what's your favorite Biz Markie record? I mean, we were talking earlier, and my man Coop said The Vapors. I'm going with Make the Music with Your Mouth, man. No, I'm going with Nobody Beats the Biz. I'm going with Nobody Beats the Biz. That track is just too crazy. Let's see, we got Locks make lyrical songs, but Dipset makes bigger hits. I agree with that. I think that Hey Ma is going to be an X Factor record. Obviously, oh boy. The Locks make great street records. We got Coop coming back in. Let's see. You are back in. You're moving. Cool. What do the Locks have for Hey Ma if that gets played? Well, when it gets played.
That's what I mean when I'm saying like they got joints. I mean, do they have to play Hey Ma?
Yes. It's one of their biggest songs.
Okay. I wasn't. I mean, I wasn't as big on that record as I was other records, though I know it was a smash. But I mean,
because that's how you showcase Santana, you know. And
it was a Santana showcase.
yeah, I think that you touched on this the other day. I think the showcase of Chic is gonna be niggas done started something.
All about the way.
Benjamins. Yep. And maybe Get At Me, dog. Maybe.
Yeah, you had spoke to that. I don't think that's going to happen unless it's in tribute to. They might do it all in one. That's why I said, Mike, they might do it all in one and like get to the Get At Me, dog, and then niggas done started something. They need to do Blackout, Mike.
They need to do Blackout.
Because Blackout is all 3 verses of them in a row too, Mike. Like they're going in order. It go Kiss Style Chic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Is Banned from TV gonna happen? No.
Maybe.
You know what I liked? And,
I don't
you know,
love it.
and if we want
I don't love their verses on Banned from TV as much as everybody else does. I thought it was a solid performance. I mean, Nature was the standout on Banned from TV because that's the best verse in Nature's career.
I was gonna say though, Tommy's theme that could possibly be Chic.
Mike, they can play Tommy's theme. Yeah,
that shit was hard.
That shit was great, Mike.
That shit was great.
Made Men, right?
Yeah.
Made Men.
Yeah, that shit was great. So yeah, man, let's talk about Vince Staples, man. We didn't really get a chance to speak to his album, his self-titled album that dropped last week, and you know, we wanted to kind of give it some time to digest and just really speak on where he is in his career and what he means to the current state of hip hop, for lack of a better term. Just this generation altogether. Like, what are your thoughts on Vince Staples?
After hearing this album, I always try to, you know, I got a cumulative picture and I got a recent picture.
Mm-hmm.
My recent picture is that he might be underrated, Mike. And it's about, I guess, about my critique of the album, because it was one of those things where I found myself enjoying the album and I think the album is dope.
Mm-hmm.
And I found him doing things on the mic that were very enjoyable, and we're going to get into those things. But I walked away feeling like the only thing that he was missing on this album was some more depth or something new or some growth. But when I'm saying that about you as an MC, that means you're dope on the mic, Mike. Like, that means the mic performance was pretty dope when I'm looking for the depth. That means you've already executed as an MC, because at that point, that means I'm nitpicking. Now I'm looking on the next level. And what I heard was somebody executing a multitude of styles and flows and being very versatile, not only with the track selection, but also his delivery and flow and cadence on the track selection. And I found somebody, Mike, that can do almost anything on the mic, and it might be going underrated because it's not as breathtaking as maybe some other people are. But he's very, very well-rounded and skilled. And the only thing I thought he was missing MC-wise from this album was some depth. I enjoyed the project.
Well, it's interesting, though, because he's very, very opinionated. And, you know, his interviews always seem to move the needle, just with some of the things that he says. But that type of content doesn't translate over to his music. So is that what you mean as far as depth, or just him taking it there with his opinions?
Mike, some of the stuff that he talks about, I wish he would rap about.
Yeah.
Period.
I wonder why he doesn't.
And I'm not saying you gotta, you know, go Public Enemy or Dead Prez on us, but he is intelligent and does have some viable things to say when not behind the mic, rap wise, but behind the mic, just commentating wise. And it would have been nice to hear a track or two like that. Because also, too, here's what I mean about him being sneaky good. Like, he's very, very, like you're drawn in, like, very, very subtly and cleverly into his tracks. And so, and he speaks to a generation, too, Mike. That's another thing that I noticed about this album. I can see why a generation that's a little bit younger than us, but not young, like is in early 20s, I can see how this 20 to 32 crowd really, really feels him and likes him. And about that, I think he has a lane where he can express more depth. Like, I thought somebody, you know what I heard? I heard somebody that I thought was very versatile, like Kendrick. but just without the depth. But that's what I was saying when I thought about it. I was like, man, he's getting versatile like Kendrick is with the flows and delivery and voice and cadence and all that. It's just without Kendrick's depth. And that's what made me think about the depth. But when you got me thinking about Kendrick in terms of your versatility, that's what I mean. Like, you're doing great things.
Right. Well, I mean, what do you think about the production? Because I think, his production, I don't know, it kind of puts me in the mind of some of Kendrick's production stylistically as well. Like, what do you think as far as his production?
I can feel the West Coast. It feels like that. It feels New West to me.
Right. New West?
It feels New West to me. And when I mean New West, I mean even New West. It's like, is this the sound after the TDE sound?
Man, like, we haven't gotten a TDE effort in a minute, seems like.
Well, that's why I'm saying when I say New West.
Outside of Isaiah, Rashad. But you know what I mean.
But is this that New West sound?
It might be. It might be.
That's what I mean when it's like, no, this project is dope. He's sneaky good. The album is sneaky good. I don't want to rate it higher than a 4, but depending on how this carries, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think about Pusha T in his verse? Well, he had 2 verses on the Pop Smoke album, but one of the verses on the song with Kanye, he said that Tyler the Creator has Album of the Year for now. Mm-hmm. So this is just a common train of thought at this point that Tyler the Creator has the Album of the Year. And Pusha still keeps saying that he's going to drop Album of the Year as well. That was part of, that verse as well. What do you think of the fact that Pusha pointed out that Tyler has Album of the Year?
I mean, Mike, either I know my favorite rapper of this era very well, or he's watching us, because I said the same thing that he said, except for I didn't rap it. Mm-hmm. The Tyler has the Album of the Year, and I still think Pusha T is going to drop the Album of the Year. So we agree.
I'm ready to hear this album, man, and it's good. I'm looking forward to the show that we do on this new Pusha T album. I'm almost looking forward to that more than I am Kendrick, because I don't even know if Kendrick's really coming.
See, that's what I mean okay, so for me liking the MC, things change about what your taste is. Like when I was younger, it's like I like the most skilled and talented guy, and that was Nas in my opinion.
Whoa, we got cut off. Hold on. Get him back on. What's going on, man? It's happened a couple of times.
You totally hung up on me.
Is that what happened? Yeah, man. It was. It cut off. Me so disrespectful. It cut off, man. No, I ain't hang up on you. Okay, you're moving now. Yeah. It froze for a minute and then it cut off, but we're back. Yeah. Hopefully, we don't still run.
No, we've been having some technical difficulties. We're gonna work through it.
So yeah. So you were talking about Nas being the most technically proficient person that you were drawing to.
Yeah. But one of the things that I became drawn to as I became older is like I like Pusha T because he doesn't mind being the bad guy in the room. He doesn't mind the pressure and the expectations. Like he doesn't mind it. Like he doesn't hide or shy away from it. Like he's confrontational, Mike. I keep telling you, like this is something that was born out of inner city angst. So he falls in line with like core fundamentals in hip hop even more than what people think. This is not no happy ass sport. You know what I'm saying? And so he's got the angst, he's got the lyrical capability. Like he's more rooted in the elements of hip hop than people think is what I'm saying. And he's super nice as an MC, and he says shit like this. You know what I mean? Like he says stuff like he says on Trap or Die 2 on Illin. Tell Hova don't pass the crown so soon unless he got a crown for every writer in the room. Like he's competitive and spiteful and like that on the mic. Like I like it, Mike. The game be needing that.
I was listening to the clip song "Pussy" the other day, from the Barbershop soundtrack. Exactly. I remember hearing that for the first time, and I remember reading an article, I think at that point, where Pharrell was talking about the next level that Pusha T was at, and I remember hearing that song like, yo, Pusha has turned a corner. All I wanted growing up was remote control. Now my whole life remote control. Hit the block, dope control. I think at that point, he knew that he could be one of the best. And ever since then, he's just been on a tear. And I think that he sees the greats as one of his peers.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I mean, I think it has gotten to that point with him. Like Mike, the corner was turned on what happened to that boy.
You think that was the
Because-
corner?
Yeah, because you want to know what? Because up until that point, Malice had been the better MC, and that's a great verse from Malice.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear Pusha T, and you're like, oh no, he's right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I thought he was turning the corner, because he had matched what his brother did on the first verse on the second verse, except for he did it his way. Like Malice was always more of your lyrically, traditionally precise MC, more like a Rakim, a Jizza, a Black Thought. And
I think Malice and Jizza is a very good comparison.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's that type of delivery, which is classic and is always gonna like work when you got a high level of delivery.
Mm-hmm.
But like on what happens to that boy, Pusha started getting on that big shit.
Yeah.
Where he started fucking with his flow. And he was already lyrically strong, and then he got lyrically stronger, and then his flow got stronger, and it was like, okay, he's a problem. By the time the Re-Up Gang mixtapes was coming out before Hell Hath No Fury, I was like, he a whole problem. And then Hell Hath No Fury came out, I was like, problem.
I was listening to the Cry Now the other day. I was listening to
Mike, quick story for you. You know the first person who I had played Hell Hath No Fury for?
Who's that?
Holla. I picked Holla up one night before we were going to the studio, and I was like, no, we're not listening to beats right now. I was like, I need you to hear what level we need to get on right now.
Yeah.
Like lyrically. I was like, they just upped the ante. Holla, me and Holla sitting in the whip. I remember we pulled up at the McDonald's like over there off on Terrell Mill, Mike.
That's always good to hear though, man, when you hear that next level and it's something that you can sit there and listen to and be inspired by. I was listening to Cry Now the other day from the Re-Up Gang, since you mentioned them. And yeah, they all spazzed on that record. That song, and I remember getting that DJ Drama mixtape that Pharrell did right before he put out In My Mind. And when they got on that Incarcerated Scarfaces, when he was like 22 niggas, 2 to a car, 11 flagships with a 3-point star. The only other ballers is some 3-point stars. We only 5'9", they think we point guards. Like, I was like, yo, no jumper. Still at the top of the key. But anyway, I was like, yeah, man, he's somewhere else right now. And I think he kind of forged a little bit past Malice. But like you said, that Jizza comparison is perfect because Jizza's always been Jizza. But when Ghostface turned the corner, there was no looking back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's like, no, he got bars too, and now his style is so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Ghostface could go in a category, in my opinion, as one of the most improved rappers ever, too. Like when he hit his zenith. Because it took some time for him to get... I mean, he's always been great. Don't get it fucked up. But you know what I mean.
I mean, Mike, he didn't have much of a choice. So let's speak to hip hop and that angst that I just talked about with Pusha T. Ghost got some of that too. It's like, don't think he didn't see Meth, ODB, even Ray riding shotgun. Like, nah, Ghost hungry.
Was true or false? Jizza's the most lyrical member on the first album.
I mean, Mike, he's the most lyrical member, period.
Okay, he's the best. Is he not the best MC on the first album? How would you rank Wu-Tang from the first album? From the first album, where's Ghost? Where's Ghost?
If we're actually rating MCs, like the craft of MCing on the first album, the Jizz is the best MC on Enter the Wu-Tang, and it's not even an argument.
No, Method Man is number 2.
Method Man is number 2.
Ray might be 3.
Old Dirty Bastard's number 3.
You think Old Dirty Bastard's 3? Okay.
Ray and Deck would probably be tied at 4.
And then Dak, you got Ghost all the way down there. Okay.
Ghost would be 6.
That speaks to how amazing that corner is that he turned.
No, Mike, he didn't have a choice. Look at who's sitting in front of him. This is the Wu-Tang Clan, Mike. Like, you better... Like Mike, he spoke on it in a documentary. He was like, I done got my shit taken off by these dudes so many times. Like I done lost so many beats, rap battles to these dudes. Like that's what I'm saying. Like Ghost Hunger came from a place of like of loss. Like
what verse would you point to say, okay, that's the verse where Ghost turned the corner? Fourth Chamber jumps out in my mind.
Fourth Chamber jumps out to me too, Mike. No, I mean, Mike, to be honest with you, like he's peeking out and poking out all over Cuban Links. That's part why Cuban Links is great. So the starter Ghost being great is the purple tape, because it's like Ray did kind of like level up a little bit, and you kind of heard it, and you had got to heard Ray. And here was the thing about it: you got to hear Ray on Meth and Dirty's album too, and you really didn't get to hear Ghost. And so when you heard Ghost, and Ghost was dope, like on Criminology, Mike, the verse on Criminology, the verse on Glaciers of Ice, those were really dope ass verses. Fourth Chamber, I think, is where he kind of started finding his style. Like the style that you hear on Iron Man takes shape on Fourth Chamber.
Liquid Swords was after Only Built?
Yeah, right after.
Yeah.
Right after. Like 3-4 months. But Mike, the Ghost that you're talking about, Mike, is impossible on Wu-Tang Forever, Mike.
Yeah, that is
Ghostface, Mike, that Ghostface killer who like poked his head out as one of the best MCs in the game. That happened on Impossible in 1997 on Wu-Tang Forever. So that was the real corner turning moment, and Supreme Clientele was the culmination of that.
What do you think? Well, we were talking about Cam and him kind of changing it up. What do you think was his corner turning moment? For me, again, I'm biased to this record, and I spoke about this record the other day. I think The Rock. I think that was that song that I heard on a mixtape when it was first announced.
I heard it on the same mixtape, Mike, before the album dropped.
Before the album dropped. And they had just announced that they were signing the Rockefeller or whatever.
It was towards the end of the mixtape, Mike.
Yeah.
Yep. It was almost like they tried to sneak that in. It's like, no, we caught that. That's Bleak, Beans, and Cam on the same track. What's going on?
Who said, get your shit Rockmore like I seen Rockmore.
No.
I'm extra scary.
Hold on. It could be, what did he say? It could be February, sound like July 4th, something like that. Like when he was like going through the months, I was like, that's Killer Cam.
Oh, man. Halloween or Memorial Day. It's your Memorial be 1 year from today.
No, Mike, that is the turning point.
Yeah. Because he was like, go ahead, stupid nigga, go fuck with them chicks. I'm a third little picky. I'm a fucking them bitch. Forget the bakery, I got pies and cakes. Niggas think doubling is from 5 to 8. I turn 8 to 20, 20 to 100, 100 to 1,000, that to 100,000. In front of housing. Close them all down, dog. No one's allowed. That's the turning point. I'm done with browsing.
You want to know what he sound like? And he was around him early. He sounds a little Biggie-ish on that verse, Mike.
Yeah. That beat is crazy, man. That
album was pretty dope, Mike.
Come Home With Me's dope. I know he says Purple Haze is his favorite. So
it is. It should be. It's definitely beat-wise and production-wise the best.
But I mean, it's something about Come Home With Me, man. Like Losing Weight and songs like that. Like I said, man, those guys.
Was shit, Mike.
Yeah, man. If those guys go to where I think they're gonna go, I hate to say it. I think that the Locks' chances.
What if he played Losing Weight? That's what I'm saying when I mean like Cam got some joints, Mike. I forgot about Losing Weight. I love Losing Weight, Mike.
Yeah, man.
Locks got their work cut out for them. Like people need to stop talking like Locks got this easy. He had their work cut out for them.
I don't understand it. I mean, maybe people forgot.
Mike,
I think people are just looking at the personnel once again. I think
Mike, this is potentially as even as it's going to get in a versus as far as like a preview that I can remember. From any verses that we've seen, I can't think of a more even matchup actually.
Yeah. I think that, I'm sorry, like we said the other day, I think that the Locks are going to falls short trying to distribute evenly. And I think that Dipset distributing evenly would be a strength.
Right.
In this sense. Santana's Town. I mean, we spoke of that record. I hope that they don't go the route of playing Run It with Jules Santana or something like that.
No, I don't think they're going to go there. I think they're going to stick to their guns and stick to their core. Like, Mike, I remember when Dipset Anthem came out. It's like, I kind of liked them. I was like, then that came out, I was like, they're going to keep coming?
Like, I had a similar experience. I kind of was fighting it for a minute, you know what I mean? And then I heard I Really Mean It. I was like, I can't fight this anymore. These niggas
You want to know what, Mike? Once again, he going to make the show again twice. Holla was the one. Holla was the one that was on Dipset that was kind of put me on. He was like, nah. He was like, you ain't listening, bro. You know how he used to talk? He'd be like, you're not listening, bro.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what? Do I need to listen again? He was like, yeah, you need to listen again. I was like, okay. I was like, okay. I was like, I'm listening again.
I Really Mean It is sick. I just, the production value for these guys is just high. It's super high.
It's super high. They pick the right tracks, Mike. They're good beat selectors.
They are, all three of them.
All three of them are good beat selectors.
Yeah. And Jim Jones, he's all across the board with it. And see, Jim Jones is the one that's not picking just like soul samples or anything like that. Like, he has a very verse catalog.
So can I also speak to something else too?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas all three of them are great beat pickers, the three on the other side are not great beat pickers, Mike. And that's what I mean. It's like I see some nuances where I'm like, oh, well, no, a lot of those records are great because those guys are great. That doesn't necessarily play as large, or you know what I'm saying? It's not going to play the way that you think that it's going to play out. You know what I'm saying? Like, Recognize as a mellow primo joint. It's not unbelievable. It's not New York State of Mind. It don't like, you know.
I like Ain't Nobody Better, but, again, that's a Kiss
Ain't
song.
Nobody Better? Yeah, Mike, Ain't Nobody Better need to get played.
That shit is hard.
They need to play, Mike. You want to know what my favorite Locks joint might be still to this day? You know what they need to play? And this is what I mean. They need to get in their bag. They need to play Breathe Easy off We Are the Streets. We gonna RUFFRYDE. Revolver, semi-automatic in the PG. Hoopty, getaway drop, Breathe Easy.
Ooh. Yo, we just put up a post. We put up a poll, man, to see which album was better, Diplomatic Immunity or We Are the Streets. And people are choosing Diplomatic Immunity so far. So this makes it even more interesting.
That's close to a tie to me, but although I think We Are the... I don't know. That's about a toss-up, Mike. That's a toss-up. That's why I said this is an even match. That's a toss-up even for me when I'm thinking about both of those albums. It's like... both of them are really good, but kind of inconsistent. Both of them are a little too long. Yeah.
Do we need a 50 Cent versus? No?
With who? And why? No. I'm asking questions. With who and why?
Well, I think the only... Ja Rule obviously would be one of the picks, but I think the game would be a lot more interesting.
Hey, listen to me. Tired of explaining this.
What?
Those two go up against each other in a versus. Game gonna smash 50.
I think so too.
Mike, smash. It's gonna be like on some like 13 to whatever the fucking difference is.
Listen, I'll take it a step further. Game will smash just about anybody in his generation. Rick Ross is the only person that I think would give Game a good run.
I mean, Mike.
Unless we talk about Lil Wayne or something, right?
I mean, Mike, and it's sneaky versatile because it's like, depending on who you pair him with, it's like he can go and give you different joints. It's like he can drop Don't Worry with Mary J. Blige, Wouldn't Get Far with Kanye, All Around the World with Jamie Foxx. He got them joints too. But then he got shit like Ali Boumaier and House of Pain and Dollar in a Dream and Scream on him.
What do you think about T.I. versus the Game or something?
I think that's a better battle. I think T.I. might lose that still. T.I.'s going to have to pick perfectly to win.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that. I think T.I. would have to pick perfectly to win.
He can't go blurred lines or anything like that.
None of that happy shit.
Or whatever you like or anything like that.
there'll be none of that, Mike. There better be what up, what's happening.
You're right. Because then Game will come with, you niggas ain't bigger than me. These niggas ain't Nas ain't jigger than me. Some hard records, man.
Mike, that's what I mean. Like, he got depth, too. He got Letter to the King, Why You Want to Hate the Game. Like, he can go any way that you want to go in his catalog. That's what I mean. He dangerous, Mike. Like,
Game has the most slept-on catalog in his generation. I will say that. And I think the reason why people sleep on his catalog is because he's had a lot of help through a lot of it. But still, music is music.
Mike, he got so much hard shit like that Crenshaw 80s. That was playing on my thing the other day with Anderson .Paak, gang signs, watching him throw him out the window. Yeah, like he crazy, Mike.
I mean, he gave Kendrick his breakthrough verse and appearance on The City.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to go there.
I mean, Mike, he got joints everywhere. I told you, Mike, like he got slept on records, like that joint on Jesus Peace, like Church. Like, that's one of them joints that, like, you play that during the verses, that shit banging the ride, Mike. Like, he got some stuff. Name Me King with Pusha T. Mm-hmm. He's got stuff, Mike. He's got stuff.
Ooh, this would be interesting. What about the Game versus Pusha T? What do you think about that?
Bulletproof Diaries with Raekwon. Hey, to be honest with you, it's like I'm worried about pushing that battle because Game got some haymakers. Like Push is the better MC. You know how I feel about Push, but like in that battle, like I'm not sure. Like sometimes Pusha T is Cool G Rap for better and for worse. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes because of the subject matter, you know what I'm saying? Like, how about this? Does Pusha T get to play clip shit? Like, do he get to play
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if he can play like Doorman and Grinding and Keys Open Doors.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, if you get to play that stuff, we have a fair fight.
Yeah.
Very fair fight.
So yeah, you got him with his solo stuff and clip stuff and Game in his catalog. I think that would be very entertaining.
I mean, Mike, I'd pick Pusha T, but that's only because I know exactly what records to pick. Because I know the whole catalog. I know exactly what records to pick.
I was just listening to The Doorman the other day, too. Actually, that's my favorite song on Till the Casket Drop.
That's the best song on Till the Casket Drops.
I thought it was just me. Just me.
Mike, Doorman and the song right after it, Never Will It Stop. They say Ras, I say Ross Simone. They think it's real cute while they giving me dough. He nasty, Mike.
Every All-Star, every Cancun, every holiday, South Beach in full bloom. $1,000 suites, white sheets, white room.
I got a bright future neck like a full moon.
What we want. Then what they want. Young, rich, hot nigga, everything she wants.
Triple beam scales got me under deep cells. Kiss my forehead. Mama knows I mean well.
That beat was hard, man.
Crazy, Mike. You want to know what? The biggest problem with that album was that song should have been a single.
Mm-hmm.
But about the subject matter, and that's what I mean with him, about the subject matter, they couldn't even make that a single when he talking about we don't count money, we weigh it like fish orders. You can't release that.
Like that Bron, I had that long time ago.
Mike, that might be the best verse on that album.
Which one?
The one on Popeyes with Cam.
Yeah.
You are now, that's that Biggie shit I'm talking about where you can get to that with that flow. You are now listening to the all-time phenomenal. Used to bad the Econo. Now I'm laying out at the Delano low, but don't get it twisted. The Uzis in the line and the hollow tip gums, your flesh like Geronimo. Yeah, like, man, like I told you, Mike, he nasty. Like, if he get the full shit like that out, then Game in trouble. If he don't, then Pusha's in trouble.
Right. All right, well, man, it's a few things. Did you get a chance to listen to that Pop Smoke? What did you think about that?
I got to a couple of records. I didn't get to much because of how the day flowed. It's my early thoughts were about what you said. It sounds industry, but it sounded pretty solid. But I haven't gone through it thoroughly to give it an appropriate review. Did we touch on Vince enough? Did we rate Vince? Like, you didn't really give me too many of your thoughts about Vince. I wanted to hear what yours were.
Nah, I kind of copied your sentiments on the fact that, I think that it was consistent, but we didn't get a lot of depth into who Vince is, and and I wish that we could get a lot more of his opinions in the music like we get in the interviews, because he stylistically has the ability to take it there. It's a good listen. It's a easy
It is.
listening album. You know what I'm saying? I
It
think the
is.
production is dope. I
It
don't
is.
think there are
Almost like,
many home run moments, but I do think that it's a album that you could put on and just vibe to. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing something, or if you want to just vibe or
hey,
just ride to. But
I
if
don't
we're
know,
talking
Mike.
about, go ahead.
You said there's not no bangers, Mike. Like Lil Fade. Like
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe I don't know about nationwide, but Mike, I know they playing Lil Fade out west right now. They
yeah.
gotta be playing Lil Fade. It's a summertime that the way that no, they playing Lil Fade. Lil Fade is smash.
But I think that right now at this point we're listening to albums. We're listening to for what they are, but we're thinking about Sky Zoo and we're thinking about this Tyler album.
Okay, so hold on. So let's go to something right quick.
Mhm.
Like that's what I'm saying is okay. So with Tyler's album, remember I said for somebody like me that may not listen to somebody like Tyler regularly, because he put this project together so well, I'm checking for him now.
Mhm.
I want to check for Vince now, but he didn't execute as well as Tyler did, so I'm more likely not to be as excited or willing to check for because of it. That's why the execution of your project matters. And that's why, because here's the thing about it, Mike, I've been listening to Vince for a minute. I still don't feel like I know him when I hear him rap on the mic. Like, I know he's having a great time, and I know he's dope as fuck, but I still don't feel like I know him. And that's usually the thing fans are made out of, where I relate to you and I feel like I know you, or you say
Right.
something that I'm
That's the
touched
next
by.
level. Yeah.
That's the next level, and he has all the tools. So what I want him to do is take it to the next level, because I think had he done not even all, but some of what Tyler did, I think it would have been a closer conversation about where he would fall, like in terms of where his album fall this year. This is one of the 10 best rap albums this year so far.
Mhm.
Easy, and I think it's a solid 4. So my question for you is, where would it kind of lie right now in early running for album of the year? Because I have 11 albums written down right now.
Well, I was gonna ask you to go through your list, but I mean, off the top of my head, somewhere around where the Lloyd Banks is, and it really makes it difficult sometimes when you have an album with maybe 9 tracks versus an album with like 20 tracks or something. You know what I'm saying? And hella features, and the other one doesn't. But I do think that they kind of balance each other out in that sense, so they would probably be very close together.
So
Um,
I mean,
I would
so
give the Lloyd Banks an edge over it.
would you?
I would.
Oh, okay.
You think otherwise?
I would have them close. I probably enjoyed listening to the Vince more. The Lloyd might be slightly better. I'm parsing hairs. I would want to listen to the Vince one more time before I would say the Lloyd is definitively better. I'm gonna name out some albums to you,
Okay.
and you tell me, because I don't have it ordered any sort of way, but you tell me if you think
Let me give a pen.
right. I want
No,
you to tell
no.
me if
Go
you
ahead.
think that this album is better than any of these albums I'm about to name.
Okay.
And did you listen to Styles' album Ghosting?
I still haven't listened to Ghosting.
That's cool if you didn't, because that's the one that I have right outside the top 10. I want to
Okay.
give it another listen, but I feel like it's outside the top 10.
Okay.
J. Cole Off Season. Do you think Vince's project is better than J. Cole's Off Season?
I don't.
Okay. Benny the Butcher, Plugs 2.
I think Plugs 2 is slightly better. I don't know. No, I don't.
I was
They're
about to say, I was
close.
about to hear you.
They're close. They're close.
Okay.
I think I might go Vince more because for,
I think the Vince
for
might
the
have
skill
more
set
replay.
that I'm gonna go back to Vince's project more than I will Plugs 2. I don't
Yeah,
think
like
I'm
I
gonna
said,
go
the
back and
replay
listen to
value is
Plugs
stronger.
2 much more.
Yeah, the replay value is stronger.
Yeah.
Oh, quick side note on Benny, Mike. I think Rick off Tana Talk 3 is Benny's best song.
What?
Yeah, Stack the Yay and Cruise. My young kid is tossing caps like they just graduated school. Look, put a little in the stash, play it cool. It's only one rule. Niggas with the cash make the rules. You know what?
He got to
Bag
get
full of
that
bricks
back,
and ammo.
man. He got to get that back.
Plug with
My fear.
Mike, he said plug with immigrants who sell bricks and sandals. It's a difference between risk and gambles. I do this for the 5-foot chandelier over the big piano. Yeah, he need to do that
Yeah,
shit, Mike.
man. I fear that they lose their hunger.
One
That's the
or
fear.
money counter run.
Hmm?
Ashes fall off the blunt while the money counter run. Yeah, Mike. So you think it's better than Plugs 2?
I do.
What about Ransom 7?
It's better than that.
Okay. Conway,
I don't think it's better than that.
Mach Homie, Pray for Haiti.
Whoo! You know what? I'm going with Pray for Haiti.
Okay. So you got Cole ahead of it. That's one. I know you got Rosenberg, Sky Zoo, and Tyler ahead of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4. You got Conway ahead of it. That's 5.
Yep.
You got Lloyd and Banks ahead of it. That's 6 and 7.
Right.
And so for all his praise, it looks right now that out of the top 10 albums that I think that we got this year that we've been talking about that have like really hit our radar, he would be 8 out of 10. He would be the 8th out of 10.
Which ain't bad.
No, it ain't bad. Outside of Ransom and who else? Oh, and Benny. So with that being said, though, Mike, look at how we raved about his skills, and he's in his prime. So you're like, that's good. I would argue with you that from what I just heard from his skill set, no, it's not. That's what I would argue with you, is that if he's in his prime and he's showing that he can do all things, and it's July, and he's only made the 8th best album this year, no, that's not good enough from what I just heard from him.
Well, I think
he's capable of more. No, because I just heard somebody that's clearly capable of more, of making the 8th best album at this point in the year, Mike. That means this album is probably going to be lucky to crack the top 20 because the Fury is coming, Mike, because Pusha T's coming, Conway's coming, Westside Gun's coming twice, Mike. He just announced that. Those are 4 projects that we know are happening, that we know are probably going to be really dope, Mike.
Westside is going to drop a very dope album. There's no reason to think otherwise.
If Kendrick drops, Mike, that makes 5 projects, Mike.
I don't know if Kendrick's ever dropping.
You
think Drake's ever dropping? And what do you think about that?
I don't think about that much because of the stuff that I've been hearing. I told you he hasn't been the same since Pusha T. Music hasn't been the same.
I agree. I think a lot of people are in denial on that fact, and I think that
they're not in denial, Mike. He's just so big, and when you're that big, it's hard for your star to fade.
Well, I think a lot of people like to harp on numbers and the charts, and listen, Eminem's always been doing numbers, but we can honestly say the last album that he put out that really made a mark was in 2002. But like you said, it makes it very hard for people to come to the realization that the star has faded because the numbers stay up there.
I mean, Mike, people have to understand this. As far as like a rapping hit maker's run, like as far as if you're a hit maker in the rap business, Mike, people have to understand for whatever run he had, it was just the best run any hit makers had in the history of rap.
I think
There's nothing wrong with the fade. I'm not saying that as a Pusha T fan. I'm saying that as somebody that respects the game and over a course of time has even come to respect and like some of Drake's music, even though it's not my thing. He's made a lot of great records, Mike. He's made some dope albums. Yeah. He's been the biggest hit maker in the history of rap. There's something to be said for that. Not the greatest MC in the history of rap, biggest hit maker in the history of rap. He just had the biggest hit making run in the history of rap. It's going to come to an end at some point. And truth of the matter is, it's been over about 3, 4, 5 years now.
Right.
But Mike, you go look at the 7 years prior, though, like damn near 100 songs, like top 10 on the Billboard.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, But
yeah. So it's like ain't nobody trying to nobody's trying to clown him or shit on him. I'm trying to give him his flowers. But Mike, we're gonna keep on going back to that Rosa Parks verse. When the song get the skipping and slowing down.
Yeah. All you have to say is them niggas earn that crown. Yeah.
All they say is them niggas earn the crown. But until then, like, he's already earned what he's earned. Like, be cool with it. Stop. You know what I mean? He just had the longest hit-making run ever. It's okay.
That verse is about falling off. I heard that song the other day, and I felt like that verse was about A Tribe Called Quest at that
I
point.
felt that way when I heard it too.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I felt like Dre and them was listening to Beat Rhymes in Life while they were making Aquemini, which would have made sense because that was like summer '96. Beat Rhymes in Life came out, which is around the time. Was it wintertime?
No, I was gonna say, wasn't what's it called coming out? The last one, the Love Movement. I think they came out around similar periods, but they could have been talking about Beats Rhymes in Life.
Mike, if we want to be exact, I think Aquemini and the Love Movement came out on the same day.
Right.
So he was probably hearing tracks from their album because you could definitely hear it was over on the Love Movement, even though it's a pretty solid album. But you could hear it was over. You could tell the chemistry and the energy was gone.
You focus on the past, Yazzie, it has what?
That's words to live by, or either it's ones to die to. I try to just throw it at you.
Yeah. Determine your own adventure, Andre. Got to a station, that's my destination. She got off the bus, the conversation. Lingered in my for hours, took a shower. Kind of sour because my favorite group ain't coming with it. But I'm with you because you're probably going through it.
Anyway. But anyhow, went
out and bought it because I thought it would be jamming.
Yeah.
We know who his favorite group is.
Mike, that's one of his best verses, Mike, because he's speaking some real truth, not only about what he's seeing, but also what's to come for him as well.
Sad and it's costly, but that's all she wrote. And I hope I never have to float in that boat. Up Shit's Creek is sweet is the last quote that I want to hear when I'm going down. When all said and done, and we got a new Joe in town. When the record player get this skipping and slowing down. All y'all can say is them niggas earn that crown, but until then, and it's true, man. It's prophetic. I think it's something that every artist goes through. He was speaking as a fan, and he was clearly this wasn't a fictional accounts because he even brought it around to them. It's like, because
he was seeing his own imminent demise through his favorite group's imminent demise. Right. Like he's like, oh, that's what's coming for me. It's like, yeah, that's coming for you too. What you thought this was?
Well, what's so impressive about that too is the fact that I think, and we never know about the inception of these records or whose idea these records were. I think that the song seemed to come just about move to the back of the bus, Rosa Parks. He took that concept and turned it into an actual woman that he was speaking to about actually your career fading to the back on the bus.
He's talking to a woman on the bus about his career fading to the back.
Right. So he took that whole concept and just flipped it out.
Genius.
It's impressive, man. And see, that's why him and Mos Def, I've always loved the way they approach their writing. I mean, when you look at Respiration and how Mos Def approached that.
Those two guys specifically, of all the great lyricists, make the complicated lyric simple.
Yes, they're very great writers. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, you could have all kind of lyrical miracle you want, but they'll take a concept like international players, Anthony. They'll take something like that and really, I mean, they built that whole video around Dre's verse for a reason.
Right.
Because he's the person that's going to take it there.
Because it's that visual.
Yeah.
He's that. Here's what I will say about him, because you're usually being a hater, so we're going to give him some flowers right quick.
I love him,
a lot of cats. No, I know you do. Mike, I was actually talking to somebody about some of your earlier material and how you sounded like Dre.
Yeah.
Yeah, you used to sound like Dre.
Big influence.
I ain't forgot. Right. I was like, I think he sound like Andre. He got a lot of nerve. Anyway.
Right. Well, on that note.
No. Like, one of the great things about Andre is that Andre was one of the first great MCs that was lyrically great, that wasn't making a point to be lyrically great on every song.
Right.
Like, he was still just great existing.
What'd he say on that Day in the Life? I just hop on these tracks and waited my turn. That was his whole approach. He wasn't on there to upstage anybody. He just did his thing.
Isn't that a gift?
Yep. All right.
we gotta
Well, I don't know what's
beans. We gotta talk about beans eventually, Mike. We gotta talk about
We-
Beanie Siegel. I
You
wanna
know
talk
what?
about
Let's do a show during the week on that, because I know that, man, my phone is blowing up because of this Biz Markie stuff, and and I do want to put together an article for that and all that too. So I know that kind of shifted our show and our topic.
No. Biz took our beans time, but it's all good. Like that had to happen.
Yeah, that had to happen, and I think we'll do a little bit more, you know, about Biz too, because this happened while we were live. And rest in peace, Biz Markie. And yeah, we're gonna get our beans show on. Let's do it sometime this week.
Oh, Mike, you want to know what? That's why we cutting off. Biz passed away. Your whole motherboard jumping, man.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. So
yeah, your whole motherboard jumping.
we having all kind of technical issues tonight.
Right.
But
It's
yeah,
going haywire online right now.
yeah. R.I.P. man, and I will holler at you, sir, and I will holler at the people next week. We're gonna talk about Beans and where he really needs to be placed out here. That's an underrated individual too. We got to get Beans his flowers.
85% communication, non-verbal.
Mm.
Beans.